Murder, She Wrote, 1984 to 1996, captivated audiences for over a decade with its clever storytelling and the unforgettable presence of Angela Lansbury as Jessica Fletcher. Set in the seemingly quiet town of Cabot Cove, the series became a classic in the world of TV mysteries. But while fans remember the show for its charm and suspense, many of the talented actors who brought its episodes to life have sadly passed away, some under tragic and unexpected circumstances. From celebrated guest stars to recurring characters, several faced personal demons, untimely illnesses, and heartbreaking ends. In this post, we look back at the real-life tragedies behind the screen, honoring the memories of the Murder, She Wrote actors we've lost. Angela Lansbury was born on October 16, 1925, and played Jessica Fletcher in Murder, She Wrote in 1984 at the age of 59. Jessica was calm yet razor-sharp, solving murders with unmatched intellect and compassion. Yet behind the serene public image, Angela's personal life was marked by unnerving shadows. Her first husband, actor Richard Cromwell, left her abruptly after less than a year. The truth later revealed he was gay, and the marriage was a facade. Far more disturbing, though, were children's entanglements with Charles Manson's cult in the late 1960s, prompting her to flee Los Angeles for Ireland in a desperate attempt to save them from drugs and manipulation. Though she projected grace on screen, insiders whispered of her icy control behind the scenes. Crew members allegedly called her the Iron Duchess, citing her insistence on final script approval and rumored blacklisting of guest stars she disliked. Her perfectionism often veiled a ruthless resolve. Angela Lansbury died on October 11, 2022, at age 96, peacefully in her sleep just 5 days before her 97th birthday. Ron Masek was born on July 1, 1936, and began playing Sheriff Mort Metzger in Murder, She Wrote in 1985 at age 49. Mort was no-nonsense, often outpaced by Jessica, but always tried to keep up. Masek had the reputation of a nice guy, yet behind the camera, he reportedly harbored resentment for being stuck in a secondary role. Former colleagues alleged that he lobbied, unsuccessfully, for more screen time, even going so far as to anonymously send letters to producers criticizing Angela Lansbury's growing control over the series. Though never publicly confirmed, rumors swirled that he was involved in a quiet feud with fellow cast members, particularly Tom Bosley, over leadership in group appearances. Masek's long-windedness wasn't just an annoyance. He reportedly derailed table reads, turning 30-minute sessions into 2-hour monologues. Still, he remained beloved by fans. Ron Masek died on October 20, 2022, of natural causes, just 10 days after Lansbury, at age 86. William Windham was born on September 28, 1923, and joined Murder, She Wrote in 1985 as Dr. Seth Hazlitt at age 62. Seth was wise, blunt, and fiercely loyal to Jessica, offering small-town sensibility in a murder-ridden Cabot Cove. But Windham's off-screen world was far less stable. Married 5 times, he left behind a trail of bitter ex-wives and estranged children. His third wife accused him of emotional cruelty, describing him as manipulative and narcissistic. Though adored by some fans, others in Hollywood found him moody and uncooperative. One director described him as charming one moment, impossible the next. Behind his Emmy win hid deep insecurities, and he frequently clashed with producers, demanding rewrites to suit his ego. He was also known to disappear from set for hours, often returning reeking of gin. William Windham died on August 16, 2012, from congestive heart failure at age 88. Tom Bosley was born on October 1, 1927, and joined Murder, She Wrote in 1984 as Sheriff Amos Tupper at the age of 57. Amos was good-natured but often overwhelmed, leaning heavily on Jessica to crack the town's endless murders. Bosley, the TV father figure of America, had darker shades in real life. A lifelong heavy smoker and frequent drinker, he reportedly ignored medical advice for years, brushing off health scares until it was too late. Although praised for professionalism, Bosley could be volatile off-camera, particularly toward younger actors whom he viewed as unworthy of the spotlight. During his Happy Days fame, whispers of marital discord circulated. His wife's sudden death in 1978 was followed by a quick remarriage, raising eyebrows among those close to him. He also harbored resentment over being typecast, privately expressing disdain for dad roles despite playing them repeatedly. Tom Bosley died of heart failure on October 19, 2010, at the age of 83, after complications from lung cancer. Bradford Dilman, born April 14, 1930, joined Murder, she wrote in 1985 at age 55, portraying several enigmatic characters with layers of deceit and privilege. A Yale-educated intellect with matinee idol looks, Dilman was often seen as too smart and too arrogant for his own good. His on-set reputation was icy. He was known to correct directors, rewrite dialogue without permission, and once walked off set over a lighting dispute. Dilman's literary pursuits, he published biting essays and memoirs, revealed his disdain for Hollywood's mindless machinery, burning bridges in the process. While publicly married to actress Susie Parker, insiders claimed he maintained a long-term affair with a production assistant, which strained his family life. Despite no formal scandals, he was seen as a pariah by some in the industry, surviving more on legacy than popularity. He died on January 18, 2018, from complications of pneumonia at age 87. Ken Swaffer was born on July 25, 1933, and first appeared in Murder, she wrote in 1985 at age 52, playing Lieutenant Catalano in other roles across 11 episodes. Catalano was brash, skeptical of Jessica, yet ultimately respected her instincts. Off-screen, Swaffer was a man of contradictions, brilliant but combative. He once punched a director on the set of a TV movie, nearly ending his career. He had a notorious temper and was known to rewrite his own lines on the fly, infuriating writers. Multiple producers described him as explosive and unpredictable. Though never embroiled in public scandal, Swaffer battled alcoholism quietly, with several rumored stints in rehab through the 80s and 90s. His reputation for being impossible to direct led to a sharp decline in roles by the early 2000s. Yet he remained unapologetic, once declaring, "I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to perform." Ken Swaffer died on November 1, 2018, at age 85, though no official cause of death was publicly released. Keith Michelle was born on December 1, 1926, and debuted in 1988 at age 62 as Dennis Stanton, a debonair ex-thief turned insurance investigator. Stanton was smooth, dashing, and morally fluid, qualities Michelle embodied both on and off screen. Despite his Royal Shakespeare Company pedigree, Michelle carried a reputation for being demanding, once halting production over what he called an insultingly written scene. Colleagues whispered about his controlling behavior behind closed doors, particularly with younger actresses he insisted on rehearsing privately with. His marriage endured rumors of infidelity and extended separations, and he was known to keep company with esoteric spiritual groups during the 1970s, which reportedly cost him roles in more conservative productions. Though beloved by fans, industry insiders viewed him as untouchable, not for his stature, but his unpredictability. He died on November 20, 2015, just days before turning 89, reportedly of natural causes. Julie Adams was born on October 17, 1926, and began portraying Eve Simpson in 1987 at the age of 61. Eve was Cabot Cove's flamboyant real estate agent, a woman whose love of gossip and string of romantic flings often landed her in the middle of murder investigations. While Adams was long celebrated for her timeless beauty and breakout role in Creature from the Black Lagoon, her later career was tinged with the melancholia of a fading star trying to keep relevance. Her divorce from actor Ray Danton was far more bitter than reported, marked by public fights and alleged infidelities. In her later years, she struggled quietly with depression, exacerbated by the industry's rejection of aging actresses. While never accused of scandal herself, Adams allegedly blackballed a younger actress she saw as competition, using her long-standing studio connections. Behind the poise was a woman terrified of becoming obsolete. She died on February 3, 2019, at age 92 from natural causes. Herb Edelman was born on November 5, 1933, and joined Murder, she wrote in 1984 at age 51 as Lieutenant Artie Gelber, a gruff New York detective with a skeptical streak and a grudging respect for Jessica Fletcher. Off-camera, Edelman's rise was uneven. He lost major roles due to rumored on-set volatility and was quietly replaced in projects where his sarcasm clashed with co-stars. Though celebrated for his dry wit on the Golden Girls, his personal life told another story. After a bitter divorce from Louise Sorel, he entered a volatile relationship with Christina Pickles that was plagued by rumors of verbal abuse and jealousy. Edelman had a long history of heavy smoking and was known to show up late to set, nursing hangovers. Though never officially disciplined, producers often used Jessica's changing scenery as an excuse to limit his screen time. He died from emphysema on July 21, 1996, at the age of 62. George Duchenzo was born on April 21, 1940, and played Inspector Lombardo in Murder, She Wrote in 1984 at the age of 44. His character, cold-eyed and by the book, often clashed with Jessica Fletcher's instinctive sleuthing, injecting sharp tension into the plotlines. Duchenzo's career highlights included roles in Back to the Future and Helter Skelter. Yet his career was marred by sudden disappearances from high-profile productions. Rumors swirled about fiery on-set disputes and his refusal to work with certain co-stars. In his private life, Duchenzo was notoriously elusive, living quietly while battling personal demons, including bouts of depression and estrangement from family. There were whispers of a collapsed marriage and a son he never acknowledged publicly. Some students from his acting workshops described him as brilliant but unpredictable, prone to drinking binges followed by intense guilt. Industry insiders murmured about Duchenzo's deep paranoia. He once claimed someone was trying to sabotage his comeback. He died on August 9, 2010, at age 70 from sepsis. Steve Forrest, born September 29, 1925, appeared as Captain Ned Larkin in 1986 at age 61, embodying a stern, rule-following officer with a brittle charm. Off-screen, Forrest was far more complex. Though he projected discipline and control, insiders from SWAT and later sets whispered about his barely concealed rage issues. He allegedly berated crew members for minor errors and once stormed off set, refusing to return until a camera operator was fired. Despite his decorated military past, Forrest was plagued by feelings of inadequacy in comparison to his famous brother Dana Andrews, which reportedly fueled his controlling nature. His long marriage was marked by turbulence. Friends described his home life as emotionally distant, with his children rarely speaking publicly about him. A known heavy drinker in his later years, Forrest's aloofness made him respected but feared. He passed away on May 18, 2013, at the age of 87 from natural causes, leaving behind a legacy veiled in both professionalism and quiet torment. Gregory Sierra, born January 25, 1937, took on the role of Lieutenant Gabriel Caceres in 1985 at 48, bringing an explosive mix of passion and volatility to the screen. But off-camera, Sierra was haunted by lifelong guilt. His first wife died by suicide, a tragedy he never discussed publicly. Friends noted a shift afterward. Sierra became increasingly isolated, rejecting interviews and eventually disappearing from Hollywood events. Despite his success in Barney Miller, his erratic behavior reportedly got him dropped from several projects. He was said to harbor a deep distrust of the industry, often claiming his ethnicity cost him serious roles. During one particularly bitter interview, he blasted casting directors for turning him into a token Latino cop. Sierra never remarried, and some close to him claimed he suffered from undiagnosed bipolar disorder. Toward the end of his life, he was living in virtual obscurity in Laguna Woods, California. He died of cancer on January 4, 2021, at the age of 83. Ken Howard was born on March 28, 1944, and appeared in Murder, She Wrote in 1985 at age 41 as Hank Shipton, a suave, enigmatic figure whose secrets often mirrored Howard's own. Though he dazzled with a commanding screen presence, his off-screen life was laced with contradictions. Behind the Emmy and Tony Awards, Howard battled addiction. He confessed in later interviews to struggling with alcohol and pills through the late 80s, nearly costing him his career. Despite being elected president of the Screen Actors Guild, insiders described him as a divisive figure, admired by some, but accused by others of autocratic behavior and quietly blacklisting dissenters. His first marriage ended in scandal, with rumors of infidelity and controlling behavior. Later in life, he underwent a kidney transplant, which he kept largely private, only revealing it after pressure from union members who questioned his health. Though celebrated publicly, Howard died on March 23, 2016, just shy of 72, from undisclosed causes that some suspect were related to his long history of health and substance issues. Jerry Orbach, born on October 20, 1935, joined murder. She wrote in 1985 at 50 as Harry McGraw, the rough-edged private eye who became a fan favorite. But behind the wisecracks and charisma, Orbach carried years of personal pain. His early Broadway fame masked his struggle with chronic insecurity, worsened by a controlling first wife who allegedly manipulated his finances and restricted access to his sons. Though he later found stability, insiders from Law and Order recalled tension. Orbach, fiercely private, allegedly refused to share dressing rooms or attend cast events, claiming he didn't mix work with friendship. Rumors persisted of behind-the-scenes feuds with producers over creative direction, which led to the abrupt end of his McGraw spin-off. He quietly battled prostate cancer for years before revealing it publicly in 2004. The same year he died on December 28, age 69, leaving behind more questions than answers about the emotional walls he built throughout his life. Martin Milner was born on December 28, 1931, and portrayed Admiral Lynn Spaulding in Murder, she wrote in 1985 at age 54. His character radiated authority and honor, but Milner's private life told a different story. While the public saw a clean-cut family man, close associates described him as deeply emotionally withdrawn. The pressures of early fame reportedly strained his mental health, leading to a quiet battle with depression throughout the 60s. Though never arrested, he was involved in a car accident in 1969 that injured a pedestrian, which was covered up by his studio with hush money and legal maneuvering. His firstborn son distanced himself from the family in adulthood, later giving cryptic interviews about growing up in a house of silence. Milner's all-American image was carefully curated, his darker moments buried deep beneath polished smiles. He died on September 6, 2015, at age 83 from heart failure. William Lucking was born June 17, 1941, and first appeared in Murder, she wrote in 1986 at age 45 as the tough and secretive Bo Dixon. On screen, he exuded menace. Off-screen, he was no less intense. Though admired for his work ethic, Lucking's temper was legendary. He once stormed off a set in the Mojave Desert, smashing props and threatening to walk unless a younger actor was recast. His first marriage ended in scandal when tabloids exposed his extramarital affair with a co-star nearly 30 years his junior. Behind the curtain of his activist persona at Santa Paula Theater Center, he clashed violently with board members over funding and casting decisions, prompting a brief ousting in the early 90s. Though no legal charges stuck, rumors of physical altercations and alcohol-fueled rants haunted his reputation. William Lucking passed away on October 18, 2021, at the age of 80 from undisclosed causes. Wayne Rogers was born on April 7, 1933, and joined Murder, she wrote in 1993 at age 60, portraying Charlie Garrett, a roguish private investigator with questionable ethics and a gambler's instinct. Off-screen, Rogers' career had seen early success as Trapper John on MASH*, but he walked away from the show after bitter creative disputes, a move that angered CBS and left him in a legal battle that nearly derailed his career. Though he pivoted into finance, becoming a commentator and investor, insiders described him as combative and vain. He often hijacked interviews, turning conversations into monologues. Behind his sharp intellect was a man who feared irrelevance. Friends noted his obsession with control and his chilly detachment from family. A failed first marriage ended in a contentious divorce, and his second marriage reportedly endured long separations. In his later years, a business partner sued him for misappropriation of funds. Though settled out of court, it hinted at cracks in his polished public image. He died from pneumonia complications on December 31, 2015, at 82. Ed Nelson was born on December 21, 1928, and played Carl Turnbull in Murder, she wrote in 1985 at age 57. His character was sly, composed, and morally ambiguous, qualities that weren't far off from his real-life persona. Though hailed for his turn in Peyton Place, Nelson's golden boy image fractured after a secret gambling addiction nearly bankrupted him in the late 70s. His wife reportedly threatened divorce twice during his lowest moments, and though he managed to rebuild, friends noted he often appeared emotionally distant. While he returned to college in his 60s, critics viewed it as a PR move to distract from resurfacing stories of backstage feuds and ego-driven walkouts. Former cast members described him as kind if you didn't cross him. In private, he battled deep regret over losing roles to younger, flashier actors. He passed away on August 9, 2014, from congestive heart failure at age 85. Bruce Gray was born on September 7, 1936, and debuted in Murder, She Wrote in 1984 at age 48 as the debonair yet inscrutable Ted Hartley. Gray was a gifted actor, but his elegance masked layers of tension and controversy. As one of the few openly gay actors in the 80s, he faced blacklisting and typecasting, leading to prolonged career dry spells. Though an advocate for LGBTQ+ representation, he often found himself at odds with Hollywood's quiet homophobia. Former colleagues described a man burdened with anger. He once allegedly lashed out at a director during a Canadian theater production, slamming a chair across stage mid-rehearsal. His long-term partner died of AIDS in the 90s, a tragedy Gray never publicly spoke about but which many say left him broken for years. Though never embroiled in legal scandal, he was described as brilliant but brittle, a perfectionist to the point of isolation. Bruce Gray died from brain cancer on December 13, 2017, at age 81. Theodore Bickl, born May 2, 1924, brought gravity to Murder, She Wrote in 1987 at 63 as Inspector Van Horn, a cultured investigator whose refined methods stood apart from the usual suspects. Bickl was a true polymath, fluent in 21 languages, a master folk musician, and political activist. Yet his brilliance came at a cost. He was notoriously arrogant, often rewriting dialogue without permission and berating less experienced actors. One director called him unbearable in his superiority complex. His deep involvement in political causes, from civil rights to Soviet Jewry, made him both a revered figure and a lightning rod. He clashed with networks over politically charged roles and was once blacklisted briefly during the McCarthy era. Bickl's personal life was equally turbulent. His second marriage ended in a bitter divorce, with his ex-wife accusing him of being emotionally manipulative. He had a strained relationship with one of his sons, reportedly due to ideological disagreements. He died of natural causes on July 21, 2015, at 91. Claude Akens was born May 25, 1926, and appeared in Murder, She Wrote in 1984 at 58 as Captain Ethan Craig, a weathered officer whose gruff exterior mirrored Akens' classic Western persona. For decades, Akens thrived as a supporting actor, particularly in rugged dramas, but his firm conservative views and open religiosity often put him at odds with a liberal Hollywood. While many admired his moral clarity, others saw it as judgmental rigidity. He frequently condemned co-stars for perceived moral failings, and his speeches at religious conventions sometimes veered into harsh critiques of homosexuality and secularism. One notable incident in the late 80s involved him walking off a project due to the immoral tone of the script, a move that cost him major roles and earned him a reputation as sanctimonious. Despite projecting family values, insiders whispered about Akens' controlling nature with his wife and children, though no public scandals emerged. He died of cancer on January 27, 1994, age 67, clinging to his beliefs, even as the industry slowly turned its back on him. Who is your favorite character in Murder, She Wrote? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.